Here we go. This unboxing, I'm recording this a bit afterward. Aloha, toy collectors and nerds. Welcome to Why It's Great Toys. Today I am unboxing the beautiful Bonecrusher masterpiece figure. This is a Hasbro Takara, I think. I have the images on the box, you can read that. This figure is something I have wanted since seeing the movie in theaters, the 2007 Transformers Michael Bay film. That freeway sequence where Bonecrusher transforms is so stunning. Seeing it on the big screen is amazing. It's an amazing experience. Watching Optimus also transform and their little fight. It's a brief fight, but it's still impressive. It's powerful. You really feel like it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting Liam Neeson, I guess. You know what I mean? And I've heard Optimus Prime's look was based on Liam Neeson, which is interesting. But I really felt like this looks like two epic warriors going to battle against each other. And the way they utilized the snapping arm, that was fantastic. The fact that this is a real military vehicle that exists, but you don't see it a lot in movies. I think what's great about Michael Bay's taste is that even though it's not something everyone knows, that really doesn't matter to him. As any director should, what matters is what looks good for the movie. So he really picked a great looking vehicle. This camo, actually it's not even camo, it's just straight tan. It's just a straight tan military vehicle meant to carry, I guess, a bunch of soldiers, but I think it has kind of a construction function. The production designers added a larger claw for that movie, so they really made a engaging, beautiful looking vehicle turn into a very engaging, beautiful looking transformer. And the way, again, Michael Bay gets that camera around that transformation, and I understand it's the animators doing the heavy lifting of that part, but Michael Bay still got to come up with the shot. You know what I mean? And so the fact that they got it, they achieved this fantastic look. I'm so happy with having this Bonecrusher. It's very screen accurate. Not all the details are right. I think the vehicle mode's pretty fantastic. And I did try to transform this thing. And what's interesting about transforming this thing, I could follow the directions to a point, but at a certain point, I got halfway through the transformation and I got stuck. And so at that point, I stopped recording. But I got halfway through that transformation, I got stuck. Those directions stopped making sense. And I just had to decide for myself, look, you've grown up with Transformers. You know how it goes. Just start moving things around and figure out how it transforms. And actually, once I had that attitude, I transformed the dude. And so I don't know if it's 100% how it's supposed to look from the transformation, but I think I got it pretty close. But I'm really happy with how all the pieces came together. Just to test the scale, because this was my one bit of anxiety. I have the 2009 Leader Class Optimus Prime. I'm very happy with that beauty. I custom painted it. There's a whole video about that. But in the case of having this masterpiece, I'm like, look, I really don't want to replace my Optimus Prime. It would be nice to get a masterpiece of the newer, more G1 accurate one, but other than that, I'm really happy with my custom Optimus. I put a lot of work into him. I've saved him over the years. It's such a beautiful representation. But I hope, is he going to match up with my masterpiece Bonecrusher? And you know what? I put them side by side, and they look pretty good. They look pretty close to the movie. Maybe not exactly one for one, but close enough for me. And just because I'm a fan of scale, I recently purchased the Transformers Human Alliance skids from 2009 as well. Having both Bonecrusher and Optimus in their robot mode, I just included the little vehicle with Michaela just so we can get a sense of the scale and see that, yes, they do look accurate to how big they're supposed to be. I did a couple little poses just to sort of, see them interact. And most importantly, I've been collecting more and more of the prison building sets from the McFarlane Walking Dead line, which came out years ago. This came out with the original first 3 to 4 seasons of Walking Dead. So this has been my mission, to really not only collect Transformers, but give them a world to live in. And I love Walking Dead, especially the first 5 seasons, I think are the best seasons of Walking Dead. But, as beautiful as Walking Dead looks, I am a science fiction guy first, so I love zombies, and I love having this little set. But even more than that, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to have a Transformer in there? So I did include these guys in my little setup. So this is one of my little precious things that I've put together in the last couple years, is having not a complete Walking Dead building set, but just having enough of it to have a feel of the space of the prison, where I found on eBay someone had already assembled and sold. Again, I'm waiting for a good price because I'm not made of money here. So I found a really good price on the catwalk. I already had a lower and upper prison cell, so I could combine that with the catwalk. So I got Optimus there, and I have been collecting slowly multiple of the towers, and I think I probably just need one more, and then just a bigger table. And then I'll have the beginnings of a very cool set. Eventually, I really want to fill this out and make the little farm with the little pigs and all that stuff that they have. But for now, this'll do. I also got the Scorponok Screen Battles set that comes from the 2007 movie line. So I could have some soldiers in there. I got Human Alliance Barricade, which came with a little Frenzy. So I really tried to fill this place out, and I put Bonecrusher in there, and Bonecrusher, like Optimus, really makes this place sing. I'm very happy with this little thing I got going on here. This is one of my favorite little diorama setups. This is technically my first diorama, I guess, but making it out of existing toys. That way I'm not struggling to paint something properly as I did with Optimus. But this way I can really have an environment and have Bonecrusher versus Optimus. It was a lot of fun to pit these two characters against each other in an environment that matches their scale. So I really tried to make it look, I tried to show the stages because I was so happy with Bonecrusher in vehicle mode. I was like, dude, I could almost just live with this as it is and never transform him. But to that end, I'm like, let me get some shots of Bonecrusher busting into this little setup. And on top of that, that way I can kind of tell a story coming out of here. Like Bonecrusher's busted in, so he busts through the gate, but he's letting the zombies in. He's working with the governor. I guess something's going on in my little diorama story where the Decepticons are working with the governor and the Autobots are working with the survivors. Which I think if I could do a Walking Dead Transformers crossover, that's exactly what I would do. Someday I will get the Masterpiece Megatron and the Masterpiece Starscream, and I intend to do a very huge diorama display. What I want is that they're just trying to get the cube, but they happen to show up during the Walking Dead time. That's kind of what I'm going for with this little display. But because I don't have those figures or the space, this is just a little beginning. This should be showing up in my toy podcast for Schmucks, and maybe I'll do a little clip just for that. But this is why I got Bonecrusher, because I just really wanted to see him in environments, really make it look like he's causing a bunch of destruction. And unfortunately, I couldn't get, what's his name? Is it Brawl? I couldn't get the tank figure, the tank Masterpiece, which came out last year. I couldn't get that. I've just been unemployed, unfortunately. But of course, the goal is to have the tank busting over the gates, helping lead the zombies in. What I got was this lot of McFarlane building set pieces, and I was able to assemble most of one of the towers, which is all I needed, because what I wanted was to represent that epic sequence from season 3 of Walking Dead where the governor comes in with a tank and blows up one of those towers. Just having Bonecrusher here mixed up, it's just so worth the visual and the image, and I hope you like these pictures. Kind of my first attempt at toy photography. I put these out on my Instagram. Nobody saw it, nobody looked at it, nobody cared. But it's okay. It's just for right now, it's for me. But I hope you enjoy this. But I'm hoping that you can see from these videos that I'm not just collecting to collect. I have a real goal and intention and vision for everything that I am collecting. As you can see with Little New York back here and all the superheroes. My vision and hope is one day to have a giant room of scaled dioramas where you can see all the various different adventures of toys at different scales. So in one case you have all the Marvels, and in another case you'll have the DC Universe, and in another case there'll be a Batcave. And in this case you're seeing this diorama buildup of the Walking Dead prison, and you're seeing the Transformers interactions, and wherever the scales meet, I have the universes meeting. So I just had a lot of fun putting this together. I hope you like the images. When I get more room, when I hopefully get a much better job than what I last had, so I can really afford the space, I really want to create this gigantic playroom that, my friends, my family, and their kids, they can come over and they can play too, as long as I don't leave with anything. But really it's for myself to just live in the world of toys, to live in the world of my favorite movies and shows, and hopefully create. One of the things that inspired me to do this is growing up as a kid, in the middle of the commercials for all my favorite cartoons and shows was always these wonderful ads for the toys where you would see a kid playing with a Power Ranger on a bike, and then they launch the little shooter at the bad guy, and the bad guy falls through a fake wall of a bunch of cubes. And sometimes it actually looked like a real wall, and sometimes they had beautiful backdrops of buildings and stuff like that. And my hope is to actually make my own little ads, my own little videos, either for YouTube or just for myself, because this to me is the dream. Is that to me the toy is not just a beautiful thing to put on a shelf. It's still a toy, and even though I will pose it and leave it alone for a long time, the fun is figuring out how to get it to kind of give me the flavor of being inside of the movie. My inspiration for doing this is Dinner for Schmucks, where Steve Carell's character does taxidermy on all these dead rats and dead animals, but he does it in order to make these very beautiful three-dimensional painterly images of all these rats. We have rat families, we have rat relationships, we have rats running for president, but he creates these wonderful little displays that tell a story. And you can see he's in the movie, he's always changing them and updating them based on whatever's going on in his life. So that was a huge inspiration for me to do what I've always imagined in my head, which is something similar but with toys from my childhood and toys from my adulthood, whatever it is that inspires me. So this is what I've decided to do, combining Hasbro's Leader Class Optimus Prime, masterpiece Bonecrusher, and having an exciting looking action sequence utilizing the beautiful building sets from McFarlane. And I really love how it all came together, and I can't wait to do more. And again, hopefully I get some, hopefully either YouTube helps me make money, or I get some kind of job where I can afford to expand this and really show my vision of what can be done with toys. Because I think we're coming into an age now where AI is going to take over everything. I don't know what we're going to do for money and food in the next 10 years. But until the robots officially take over, as Nick Fury says from Avengers, until the world ends, we will continue to act as if it continues to spin, as if it intends to keep spinning. So until that happens, I'm going to try to make the most out of my life and make the most. I think I've lived a long time being depressed and not going for the things I want. And even though it's just such a small thing, just playing with my toys and having a good time has been great. And my hope is to, hopefully have a bigger space where I can really show you guys what I see, how I see toys being in the future. And I already sent a message to Todd McFarlane. I don't think he ever saw it. He probably heard it from other people before, but I think the future of toys is dioramas, because every little kid doesn't just want the toy. They want to live in the world of the show that they bought the toy from. And I know this for myself. When I was a kid watching Max Steel, one of the first CGI shows, and it was basically a 12-inch doll. It was scaled a Barbie scale, but my sister had the little Barbie playhouse. So what do I want? I want more toys, but I don't. All I have is variants of Max Steel and variants of his bad guy, who was a creepy looking guy with a metal arm. So I'm like, what? I want more toys. I want a place for him to fight and play. So I struck a deal with my little sister. Hey, can I play with your Barbies and your playset and my Max Steel so that I can have adventures and have Max Steel save the Barbie and fall? Well, I wasn't thinking of falling in love, but she's like, okay, as long as I also get to play, because I don't have any Kens and I want Barbie to fall in love. And so I'm like, deal. So for a half an hour, she would help me play, and Max has to rescue the Barbie. And then for the next half an hour, well, because of that story, Barbie and Max Steel, they're falling in love, and they're going to get married, and they're going to get a car. You know what I mean? So I've always loved toys, diorama, or at least not necessarily dioramas, but having the toys have a location to be. It's just part of the fun of it. This is part of the fun is living in it. So this is what I've been doing. I hope you like my little Bonecrusher unboxing and what I chose to do with Bonecrusher. And thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time.